Uh-oh, it's that time again. The time where I feel like my surroundings are not whimsical enough, and so I make sort of impractical decisions. Is that it? Side note, can you believe I've actually kept these alive? My track record is not great. Let's just say that. We are doing another home renovation, sort of. It's kind of like purely cosmetic. To turn my office where I do all my editing to get done, I want to make it a little bit more Ghibli. Didn't grow up with the movies, and so now I'm kind of working my way through. Me and Nick will sit down and choose a different one to watch. I'm grateful I get to experience them for the first time as an adult. Anyways, I don't. Let us look at the office in question. Field trip. Here it is. I didn't even bother cleaning up because, listen, okay. There's no pretense here as to me being the essence of a tornado in a human body. But this side doesn't even matter. Where the magic happens. And by magic, I mean a 33-year-old fighting to remain relevant on the internet. My lens is not quite wide enough to get that well, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. We're not starting from scratch. I have been working on this for the whole 3 years that we've lived here. Some of you have seen my beams making video. Just want to dial up that coziness scale. I got a fever, and the only prescription is more whimsy. I'll show you, I guess, what's not working for me currently. Really good wire management. Wig, don't look at that. Bills. I have my editing setup here with the 2 monitors. Just a bunch of technological crap. I don't know, this keyboard was Nick's. Some of the keys are missing, and then I have worn this down just from resting my arm on it. So that needs to be replaced. Collection of little guys. I will not be touching these just because they make me very happy. This is a leaf that I got from Hobbiton in New Zealand. Found it on the ground. This is my wall of things that make me quite happy. I don't think I'll be touching this. This is fine. Remember how I said I was proud of myself for keeping those plants alive? I don't want to talk about it. Painted this little motif last year and a half ago, I don't know. Don't love it. I didn't really love it at the time, so I will be painting over this. Over here, makeup zone. It's quite messy. I'm not gonna be touching this too much aside from this back wall, and then maybe organizing total destruction. Here's my guy. So basically my plan here is going to be just injecting my favorite moments from Ghibli movies. This is my work zone. It is super, super important to me as a maximalist to have a comfort space when I'm working because working can be quite stressful. This is why I did not do well in a corporate environment because my cubicle was always full of tchotchkes and a little frowned upon. Let me show you what I'm thinking. For this wall, I am going to finish what I started with the beams and then add a paint job that resembles Kiki's dwellings in the attic, except maybe a little bit warmer toned. And then for my editing setup, I want to make this a little bit more aesthetic and make fake frames for the monitors to make them look like little paintings, a Little Jiji hanging off of one of them, and then maybe some foliage to fill up the gap underneath this monitor, as well as a new keyboard and a new mouse and a new armrest. And then finally, this wall. For this wall, I chose between the copious amounts of wallpaper featured in Ghibli films, but I settled on Kiki's bedroom, so I'll be doing my best to just copy it exactly. I'm quite excited. I love making spaces superfluous and extra as hell. Ready, team? The innate need to make things impractical and peculiar as hell in order to deal with the horrors of the world on 3. 1, 2, 3. Nailed it, let's go. Actually, before we go, this might seem quite silly. If I'm going to the home improvement store, I'm not gonna wear this. I'm gonna wear an outfit that really screams, please, for the love of God, don't look at me. I don't know what it is. Maybe I just want to be tough, look like I'm on the job. I think this outfit's really gonna do the trick, guys. Yeah. That will do nicely. Now I'm ready to buy some paint. It was a little tricky to find the right color for Kiki's bedroom, but I settled on this color, and I think it's gonna do just fine. I have returned with my flaccid measuring tape. I have up right now are made of EVA foam, but after taking a look, I realized I didn't have enough. But thankfully, I'm a borderline hoarder, so I have a stash of insulation foam up in my barn attic. At this point, I feel like I've done this quite a few times in videos, so I'm gonna go over it pretty quickly. Started by dremeling in that wood grain, which is what I did with the EVA foam boards. But I forgot with this kind of foam, it kind of comes off a little rough and old. So to make it more smooth, I used my other method, which is just simply using this metal dull part of this tool and just pushing in the wood grain. This gives it a much smoother appearance, not to mention a lot less messy. You can really tell the difference of the finish when you put them next to each other. I do like both methods, but it definitely depends on what kind of wood you're looking for. The rougher kind works really well for more of a medieval tavern vibe, since it kind of, it looks like old, ancient, crusty wood. Which coincidentally is the name of Nosferatu's OnlyFans. I am so sorry. Then it was time to move things out of the way, but just enough that it's still really annoying. Just look at that posture. Then it was finally time to paint. To do this, I mixed up some of that Palomino Pony with some brown. Lime wash is expensive as hell, so this is kind of my alternate. And this sort of trick is to not mix it in fully so that you get more brown in some swatches and not in others. Experimenting with this, but I went in and added an even lighter tone right in the middle. It looks absolutely nutso right now, but it did dry down to a less noticeable tint. Good progress for today. Painting in summer is not my favorite thing. I do not smell good. I think we did a lot. I'm gonna let this just set overnight. I shall see you tomorrow. Howdy. I don't know what it is, but whenever I sit here, I feel like my old mountain man prospector alter ego comes out. Nice out today, nice out yesterday. Okay, so my goal for today is to finish up the beams, paint them. I think I might make one more because I forgot to account for the corner of the room. I'm just gonna make like a tiny little one. We can also do Kiki's wall, which I'm quite nervous but excited about. I'm not great with geometry and straight lines. It's a journey we will take together. Sound good? All right then, let's get this party started. I started off with just brown paint, but then I mixed some black in to make it a little darker and to help with some of those wood grain tones. Hello. Next project, a little out of my wheelhouse. Requires some delicacy. That is not something that I do well. Frog tape, a laser level, and my big juicy brain. Not smooth at all. Many ridges. It's gonna help me to kind of draw this out first. While this looks very complicated at first, it's really not so bad. These two sections are actually the same length, and then just halfway between there is another line. And finally the leaves and flowers get painted on the big stripe. Now what I need to do is just figure out size of everything, which is kind of fun. This wall is not directly symmetrical. There's more room on this side than this side, that kind of thing. So we're just gonna play around. I'm gonna put the laser level up to give myself some straight lines. Sorry if I sound very nasally. I just sneezed about 67 times. Before we do all that though, that does require me to move quite a few things. I'm trying not to let this monstrosity stress me out. Not very successfully though, because every time I look at it, I get annoyed. let's get started. Do you believe in me? You know, in Peter Pan, and Tinkerbell needs the validation of people believing in her and clapping. I need that right now to do some straight lines. I do believe in geometry. I do. That is a Ghibli quad if I've ever seen one. Oh! Ooh, mama. All right, let's take a look. I am pleased. This is probably the neatest paint job I've ever done in my life. It's looking like Kiki's bedroom wall, which I'm very excited about. I just need to do, you know, the leaves and the flowers. I think I'm probably gonna leave that for tomorrow morning. I kind of like to have a brand new task for a brand new day kind of thing. The beam that I forgot about is kind of throwing a wrench in things because the construction adhesive takes a while to set, so I went to pick it up and it fell apart again. I'm just gonna leave that for the night to set, and then we can put those up tomorrow as well. Project by project, we're chugging away. Every time I walk into this room, I'll show you. It just fills me with a lot of joy. Besides all the garbage just thrown on the ground, it's making me really happy. I will see you tomorrow. Beams. The way I do this is very, very simple. I just literally take nails with the little flat head on top, pound it into the wall. The renter-friendly way of doing this would be to do mounting strips. These weigh literally nothing. Mounting these to the wall with mounting strips would be super easy. If I ever want to take these down, all I have to do is fill in the tiny little holes. Easy peasy. I'm gonna get started on that. And then just a little bit more painting, which you will see before we head to the leaves. I'm a bit tired today. Not get a lot of sleep last night. Torrentially downpouring and thunderstorming. Our little man screams eternally into the night when there's even a little bit of thunder. So we were up for a while and I feel like a 90s dad by saying this. In fact, I do need to do the proper pose for this. Yeah, the grass needed this. All right, let's get started. I'm already sweaty. This does not bode well. Summertime reno. Can I even get this in there? Where's my hammer? Okay. Please don't break. Yeah. Ah! Seems like my measurements were a little off. I'm so sweaty. Ah! That sucks. Oh, bugger. What? Renovation gods, please let this work. A little bit more. Hell yeah. Let's go. Oh. Here's where I might lose some of your faith, and you would also be completely justified. We're gonna take this a little too far. If you look at Kiki's quarters, there's these plaster walls, and very obviously underneath it is some wood. And there is a part where it's chipping off and you can see some of the wood beneath it. Shall we? I know. I can just paint over it. And you know what doesn't matter? People's opinions on the internet. I love you, but have some faith, okay? I think it's gonna look kind of cool. I'm gonna do it to this corner, almost 1-for-1 copy. We'll keep it kind of small, okay? How's that? So I've mixed up like a gray brown. Yeah, okay. Right up against that edge. Doesn't look like much, but once we start adding the details, I think this is gonna look smashing. Shadows and highlights. Environment's very modern and clean looking. Are you ready? I am. It's time to paint the leaves and the little flowers. That is in Kiki's bedroom motif. Light green paint, and I think what I'm gonna do is water it down so that it's almost like watercolors. I'm not even gonna sketch this out. You like that? My phone broke randomly last week, and Nick happened to have this flip phone. And you know what? I'm too lazy that once I sign into everything, I'm not getting a new phone. It's fine. I've been wanting to spend less time on my phone lately. And I'll be honest, this makes it annoying enough that I don't reach for my phone. Now I can open with style. Or if I hang up in an angry conversation, hold on. That is pretty neon. I think I might have to tone that down a little with some brown. Snowsberries taste like snowsberries. All right, maybe get a little bit more painterly with it. I think my lines are a little too like rigid. I gotta be a little bit more loosey-goosey, have more fun with it, you know. Morning! Why I chose to curl my hair on a torrentious day like this, the world may never know. What I need to do today is the fun stuff. I am headed to the home improvement store to get some frames to make like a fake little picture frame thing for my monitors. Ye old merchant named Michael, his copious amounts of foliage. Definitely the first person to think of that. At first I was looking at this leaf trim, but then I realized that it was 8 feet long, and sticking that in my car would have been a struggle. So instead I found these 4-foot sections that I liked just as much, and then it was time to whisper sweet nothings to the plant section. Ooh, what's up? Hey baby girl, you coming home with me today? Let's go. On to the craft store. What? is this so cute? This would be really cute if I were doing like a Ariete thing. It's 70% off. Should I just do it? In case I ever do like a borrower's Ariete thing. I don't have enough self-control for this. Let me in here. Alright, shopping is done. And now I am somewhere a little predictable. I cannot run errands and not get myself a sweet treat, I fear. A little nectar. Alright, so I'm heading back to the house now, and then we can start on our projects. Including a little toy that I picked up for myself. Behold, a new toy. One of my goals this year was to get a little bit better with woodworking, being a little bit more self-reliant because Nick is always busy. His meetings, I've been trying to learn how to do things. We have the trim, measure out and cut 45-degree angles to make the frames. This is just a very simple table saw, which still gives me the heebs and the jeebs. We're gonna be brave and keep my phalanges very far away. You probably know that me and power tools is a formidable combination. Okay, we're gonna keep this actually unplugged until I'm ready to use it. Very simple, teeny weeny little blade. This thing, make into different angles, but for this, we are going 45. We can use this little pusher and go whomp. Seems pretty straightforward. Does not make me any less scared. And because here on this channel, we don't around with safety, I'm not losing a finger today. Not today. What does that warning mean? No, I think it means don't brute strength your way through it. Don't try to force anything. But also, do not delegate this task to your livestock. I'm a big brave girl. I am essentially a carpenter. Now to do this 15 more times. Oh, my brain hurts. I was gonna put together like a little bit, you know, like a carpenter montage, but then I immediately got confused and need Nick's help. Needs to go this way.
Yeah.
So how do I do that?
To the other 45 here. So if you want to go through like this.
Hey, she's a carpenter. Look at her make all those cuts. So focused all the time. You bet your butts. Hey, she's a carpenter.
I opted to glue these together with some glue that I got at the store, and it told me to wet one end, put a thin layer on the other end, and then clamp it for 2 hours. Full disclosure, this did not work. So then after construction adhesive also didn't work, we ended up stapling the backs. Moving on to something that I'm quite looking forward to making. It's been at least 3 minutes since I've made a little guy, and at least 5 minutes since I've made a Jiji. This time, we're going to make a size-accurate Jiji and not one that I need to make huge to stick my arm up his butthole. I am going to make him out of felt. I'm gonna needle him together, make him posable so that he can cling onto my monitor and have his little feet dangling off. Absolutely precious. Before we do that though, I do have to figure out what size I want him to be because he is quite tiny in the movie. Yay big. I'm just gonna whip up a quick cat skeleton without looking at any anatomical references and hope for the best. So there's his head. Arm number 1, twisty twisty. Arm number 2, leg number 1, leg number 2, a tail. Let's beef him up. His front paws were looking a little short, so I did add a little bit of length on there. Look what I got. Here's his little skeleton, little mummy cat. make the ears, I'm laying the felt flat and then really compacting it, flipping it over, doing the same thing on the other side. Basically, the more you do this, the more solid the wool is gonna get. And then I added some gray for the inner ear. He was looking a little bat-like, but you know, it is what it is. Turns out my clay was really dried up, so I did the same thing with my Jiji puppet. Just made the eyes and nose out of foam and then painted, covered with resin. He was looking a little scary. So I added some wool around the eyes to make it look less bug-eyed. And enlarged the pupils a little bit to make it a little cuter. It helped a little bit, but he still looks like he's seen some shit. And I wanted whiskers, so I took some bristles from this broom, kind of stuck it in there. It's not really a long-term solution, but I'm not really going to be touching him, so it works for my purposes. Who needs boring armrests, am I right? You have one guess as to what I'm going to make this into. Because I find a lot of joy in making things look like food, you guessed it, I'm making this a baguette. So making sure to mix this with fabric medium so that it's permanent, I just started slopping away. Anyone keeping count of how many bread-related projects I've done on this channel? A few more finishing gilding paint details, and then we can start assembling the room. The time to mount the frames onto the monitors. These were a little heavier than expected, so I did end up using the mounting Velcro. Just matched up where I put them on the frame and the monitor, and I think this worked pretty damn well. Almost forgot my baby girl, and once she was up, it is finally time. Behold, a completely extra as hell office. It's done! Holy cow! Cannot explain to you how happy this already makes me. The sun did come out for about 2 seconds today, and I got to see it in the sun, and it looked lovely. Can't fight Mother Nature. What I needed, because when I come in here, it's usually to get ready for the day or to work. Very important to start with a good mood. I am so aesthetically mood-based. It's insane. For me, having a space that I feel cozy and comforted is so important. Really happy with just about everything. There are a couple more things that I need to futz with until I'm happy with. You can see the mounting Velcro on the top side of this, so I either want to chop this off or like paint it black or something just to hide it. That's kind of an empty space right now. I don't know if I want to put my bird poster back up or not. I kind of like seeing the wall, so I'm just gonna leave that empty for now. But other than that, I'm so happy. I will admit, this wallpaper does make this room quite busy. It's a bit much. I'm not gonna nitpick it. I think that for me as a person, this is probably the best job I could have done. That's it. I know this kind of leaned a lot more towards Kiki's delivery service. Let us be realistic. If I were to truly make this room my essence, it would look a little bit like Howl's bathroom, because me and him are kith and kin, okay? That is it. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know if you liked this, and someone hire me to come do a borrower's Arietti room in their house, because I am dying to make an entire room filled with oversized furniture and leaves. Maybe not in this house. I'm running out of rooms. All right. I love you whether you're new or old to this channel. If you're new here and you feel like sticking around, feel free to subscribe. I upload every other Friday and we have fun here. And I will see you in my next video. Bye! Oh, it's bright. Just bleh.
Have you learned your lesson? Are you gonna stop making jokes about old vampire peens?
Storms are coming. Let's get this party started. That wasn't Southern. What was that? That will do. Pig.